Hi, friend. My name is Zoe. I work for a neighboring organization in Shawnee, Oklahoma called Community Renewal of Pottawatomie County. We help neighbors restore community through intentional relationships. The reason why this organization is so important is because we are such an isolated world, and isolation and loneliness have an incredible impact on a lot of things, including systemic issues like homelessness and crime and school performance and incarceration. It also really impacts our health. And I believe because of our need to be in our homes, that our neighbors are a primary line of care during the coronavirus season that we're in. And I'm here to share with you the call to caring that I have given the volunteers that I work with in neighborhoods. Before I give this call to action, I do want to say that if you are physically vulnerable to this virus, there are going to be some things that I recommend you not do. Now, there are wonderful, wonderful things that have happened when people are stuck in one place. Isaac Newton discovered gravity. The Apostle Paul wrote a lot of the New Testament. So, this is a great opportunity for you to write that memoir that you've been talking about. Paint the picture, build the table, learn how to play the ukulele, plant a garden, go for walks. There are a lot of things that you can do to physically distance yourself that can still keep you connected to the people around you and keep you connected to the spirit inside of you. Now, for all who are able, and all will be able to do some, I do recommend doing one of the below things each day. Now, while the situation is urgent, rushing is not helpful for our stress level. Going slow, I know personally, reminds me that I am enough, that I am doing enough, and that I have enough. But I do recommend trying to do them once a day throughout this week. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, much less next week. So while we don't want to rush, we do need to continue to move forward with a sense of urgency. The first thing that I recommend that you do is pick 5 to 15 of your neighbors to care for. Now, there is a bunch of us in our local Shawnee and Pottawatomie community caring for our neighbors. And the reason why I say 5 to 15 is because we can't do this alone. We have to have each other. Picking in that number helps me personally avoid being overwhelmed. It helps me make peace with my limitations, but it also helps me get stuff done. If I am too overwhelmed that I become paralyzed, I am helpful to no one, okay? So 5 to 15, pick those people, pick those households. Number 2, exchange contact information with those households. Maybe you already have that information, perfect. But if you are going to a door, and I do have this handy directory that you can download for free. It will be available in the description of this video for you to mark who lives where and get that contact information if that is helpful for you. Of course, with our technology, we don't even need things like that unless, again, you are a paper person, as I am. Now, do make sure that you wipe down any doorbells that you press or doors that you knock on, but you can always exchange information with a lot of smiles, a lot of waving, and no human contact. Number 3, so number 1 is pick your neighbors. Number 2 is exchange contact information. Number 3, make phone calls with active listening. Everyone probably is going to say that they're fine. In our DIY, do-it-yourself, by the bootstrap, hyper-individualistic culture, someone is not likely to come out to say that I am scared about my job or my family's hungry. So we all have something that we are anxious about, nervous about, fearful of in our current climate. Be vulnerable about those experiences to create a safe space for your neighbor to open up as well. Then listen for cues for physical or economic vulnerability. That brings me to number 4. Number 1 is pick your neighbors. Number 2 is exchange contact information. Number 3, make phone calls with active listening. And number 4 is know your resources. If you're in Shawnee or Pottawatomie County, I have listed the resources that I know of in the description of this video. If you are not in Shawnee or Pottawatomie County, my 2 recommended resources for you are Feeding America and United Way. Feeding America is going to be one of our local food banks are going to be one of our most important partners in this time of crisis. First, they're going to be making sure that all of our people go to bed with food in their bellies. Second, they're going to be lower on volunteers because their volunteer base is one of the most vulnerable in our society. So they're going to need volunteers, and they're going to need and people are going to need to know how to get connected to them. So if you go to Feeding America, they will have resources there for you to find your local food bank. 2, United Way is a really great connector to the other resources in your community to figure out what job needs there might be or what kind of food delivery services. Now, keep in mind that a lot of grocery stores do food pickup or food delivery. Now, the 5th, so to review, know your neighbors, identify your neighbors, exchange contact information, make phone calls and active listening, know your resources, and number 5, be visible. Be visible is one of the first, elements, elements is the word I'm going with, of the strategy for the volunteers that I work with. We, as humans, do not need it to look like there's a zombie apocalypse going on outside. It is not healthy for us to not see other people. Our stress levels greatly increase when we are not around other humans. So make sure you're in a place where your neighbors can see you. Garden, go for walks, play out front, take a long time checking your mail, pull your grill to the front yard, drink coffee on your porch. I am so jazzed to brainstorm ways that you can be visible to your neighbors without having physical contact. If you want more information about what being around other humans does for our stress level and immune systems, I've got a YouTube video linked for you on the polyvagal method. Now, number 6, we already are in an isolation epidemic in our country that's been going on for decades longer than the coronavirus, okay? If we are all socially isolated from each other, we are going to have a loneliness epidemic in great proportions. So if you would like to continue to have updates about not how to just care for your neighbors physically, but also socially and yourself socially, I encourage you to do one of 2 things. First, you can like the Community Renewal of Pottawatomie County Facebook page. Then you can like my Facebook page. Both pages are going to be resources for you for how to connect with people socially so we avoid further harm by isolating ourselves. How you can care for the people around you and thereby care for yourself. To close, we have something in Oklahoma called the Oklahoma Standard. And the Oklahoma Standard is the phenomenon that no matter who we are or what we believe or how we vote or where we choose to spend our time socially or who we choose to spend our time with, that if there's a crisis in our community, Oklahomans show up for each other. We mostly see this when it comes to tornadoes and other natural disasters. Now is the time for us worldwide to practice this standard. No matter what we believe, no matter where we live, we can show up for each other. And that is my challenge for you today, is to show up for your neighbors, show up for the people around you, show up for the people who don't look like you or think like you or dream like you, because, my friend, we are all in this together. I'm grateful for you. You matter. Thank you for being you. And I'll see you next time. Bye.